I think it's fair to say that when you first start up a new game, you'll probably know little to nothing about the game's plot. I mean, why would you? You've never played it before. And I think it's also fair to say that by the time you finish playing that game, you'll have a clear understanding of what it's about and how the story played out, or at the very least, you'll have a basic grasp upon what the game's points was. Well, I'm pleased to announce that for the first time, I've played a game where I knew just as much at the end of it as I did at the start. Yeah, so this week we're kicking the evil within in the gut. You know, that E3 proclaimed game that was going to be the next big thing, right after Destiny, Murdered Soul Suspect and Rise Son of Rome. I like all of those games. This one ended up chewing off more than it could swallow, before crawling back into the dog kennel of obscurity. I dare anyone right now to go out, buy the game, play it all the way through, come back, and then tell me what it was about. When I first sat down to play this game, I knew that I was about to play a horror game and presumably some stuff would happen. And upon reflection after finishing the game, I can confirm that I indeed played a horror game and some stuff happened. Whether or not that stuff was connected or not is anyone's guess, because it sure as hell didn't seem connected to me. No, to hell with this, let's do this properly. I honestly believe that in real life, you should treat people by how they present themselves, so let's take that same approach to the Evil Within. The Evil Within gets you to play as a gruff, generic detective, Sebastian Castellanos, or whatever, who, after entering an insane asylum along with two of his co-workers, end up getting separated and then stuff happens. Done. See you next time on True Reviews. Shit. Now confused as to why he's been separated from his colleagues, Seb, yeah I know that's what I actually call him, though it sounds too much like Jeb, must try to figure out what the hell is going on because the plot isn't making any sense. But there's a reason why the plot isn't making any sense, and that's because some psycho is having a breakdown. Kind of like a psycho break. Did you see what I did there, Japan? And now this dude is rewriting reality to fuck with Sebastian's head. So in order to get around this, Sebastian must travel far and wide, looking for upgrade points so that he can expand his carrying capacity of different ammo types that he won't be carrying around anyway. But unfortunately for Seb, some monsters have shown up who don't take kindly to him coming over here, taking their upgrade points and stealing their women, and so Seb must carefully get past them either by shooting his way through the crowd with all but 2 bullets, or, as the game so insistently implies, use stealth and sneak past them all. But I'd like to point out that that's bollocks, and here's why. Stealth as an option is only valid for as long as the player has the element of surprise. The second you get spotted is the second that that stealth plan gets put in the trash. So with that in mind, you think that this is a stealth game and that it does stealth well. Yeah, you'd think that, wouldn't you, you naive peasants? But guess again. That element of surprise is about as rare in this game as a shopping centre Santa Claus that isn't a nonce. I'd probably label it below the belt if a game gives me 3 pistol bullets and then throws me into a large area crawling with enemies, tells me to go to the other side without dying, and then alerts the enemies to me during a cutscene. So when you immediately retake control of your character, you might as well use one of those bullets on yourself because the game just activated the horde. If I go through an area of monsters that aren't aware of my presence, and I slip up and alert them, then that's my own fault, and I have only myself to blame. Starting the area with enemies already running towards me is f***ing ridiculous, and there were many times where I ended up running out of ammo during fights, and having to craft more crossbow bolts on the fly. And like all bad stealth games, if you're going to try and stealth it, then you better follow its one, and only one method of getting through the level without dying, otherwise it's welcome to Deathsville, population just you c***. And it was during this realisation that I figured out which game this reminds me of. It's like Velvet fucking Assassin, the one game it had to aspire to be like, and the developers picked one of the worst of them. Too many enemies, not enough ammo, only one method of getting through a level, shit characters and plot. It's Velvet fucking Assassin all over again. Well, at least that's what I thought initially. In all honesty, this game seems to aspire to be more like Resident Evil 4 more than anything, with its mutated farmers throwing axes and dynamite at you, hard to see traps you'll probably walk into 9 times out of 10, that really same shit camera control that makes it hard to aim at moving targets. No Midget Napoleon this time though. I was a bit disappointed in that, but there goes. Say what you want about Resi 4, I found it to be entertaining, and at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for from a video game, which are ultimately entertainment devices anyway. But although many people claim that Resi 4 is one of the best games ever made, I would be the first to admit that there were several things wrong with that game, including really shit quick-time events, the camera that I've already mentioned, and boss fights that can't be killed, but hey, we're not going to tell you that, just you can waste all your precious magnum rounds on it for no reason at all. Thing is though, Even though The Evil Within is a spiritual successor of Resi 4, it seems to have taken most of its bad points with it and none of its good points. Resi 4 was both intense and atmospheric, whilst at the same time being wacky and over the top, but in a self-aware kind of way. The Evil Within was just a convoluted mess though, with no connectivity being made between each level. You're in one place on one level, and then you're somewhere else in the next. There's no reason as to why you're here, you just are. Don't get me wrong, The Evil Within isn't a total fail of a game, and it does have some redeeming features. But when you stop to think about these aspects, you realise that they're all overshadowed by bigger negative issues. The graphics are nice and detailed, but there's loads of texture popping going on. The PC port which I got, because I was a good little boy, is poorly optimised. The screen has this really shit grainy effect going on, and remove that letterbox crap as soon as you can. I'm playing a game, not watching a movie. The combat and gunplay feels good, and that's with a capital G. Seeing enemies' heads explode feels satisfying, and you feel the impact of every shot you make. Also, with ammo being rare, each shot is valuable, and it really does mean a lot to find 3 shotgun slugs, or maybe even a grenade. And the crossbow has many ammo types, meaning that I can strategise my method of attack and deal with different enemies in different ways. But because the enemy are vast in number and the game doesn't know what stealth is, you'll find that ammo is too rare for its own good, with stealth not being an option. And the game really rubs it in your face by providing you with a lifetime supply of upgrade points and no ammo at all. What's the point of increasing the amount of rifle ammo that I can carry when I never have any of that shit to begin with? Also, the crap camera controls make shooting even more difficult. Though you can use auto aim if you play it on the easy difficulty, but I'll have to shoot you if you do because that's basically cheating. There are some chase moments that will really get your heart going, and some puzzles are quite interesting to figure out, but they're all filled with beginner's traps. This game has stealth elements, and that varies up the gameplay and how you approach each area, but again, we've done that to death, and the game wouldn't know what stealth was if it walked up and stuck its hand down its pants. Also, none of the upgrades are stealth related, so don't even try stealthing it. Also, if you do manage a stealth kill and then set the body on fire, because otherwise it'll get back up, I found this actually alerts any enemies in the area to your presence, which basically means that even if you have the element of surprise, it's only good for one use only. Also, what the hell was up with the boss fights in this game? Some you can't kill and have to run away from, some you can't kill, you just have to waste time on, some you can kill but then they'll come back later in the game and this time you can't kill them, and don't get me started on the endgame boss fight. It was over in about 2 minutes. Shoot the red circles and then shoot him in the head. Round 1 over. Round 2, stun him with rockets, then shoot him in the head. Round 3, shoot him once. Game and set. More like waste o' time. Can I recommend this to anyone? Possibly die-hard Resident Evil 4 fans will find this somewhat enjoyable, but even then, I can't really see why anyone would want to buy this game. It's more frustrating than anything, and not because the game wants to challenge you. In fact, it holds nothing but contempt for the player. It's one of the most unplayer-friendly games I've ever played. I died a total of 46 times during my playthrough, and most of these were because of beginners' traps. Traps and insta-kills that you wouldn't have known about unless you played the game already. The gameplay has been done better in other games. The horror has been done better in other games. Christ, even the story to rate play was better than this. And Limbo of the Lost's plot, though having the coherence of a badger with diarrhea, made more sense than this game. You start up The Evil Within, some stuff happens, and then you finish 15 hours later. Yeah, I played the crap out of this game, and it took me that long to finish. Like I said, this game isn't a fail of a game, but there's so much wrong with it, and any right that it does is outweighed by the wrong, and so I'm going to have to give this game a 4 out of 10. I'd recommend that you don't buy this one, or at the very least, not right now. Wait for it to come down to pennies, and then have a long hard think about it. Alternatively, you could simulate the experience yourself by reenacting scenes from the film Vanilla Sky with your friends. A pointless and soul-crushing activity that's about nothing.
This life is killing me. I swear sometimes I think this life is killing me. Sometimes I think this life is killing me.